everybody, and welcome back to Dynasty Gaming, and welcome to my 2016 MLB Season Predictions. And my goodness, what a show we have for you here today. I will be predicting each and every team's record, and I will be predicting the playoffs, and eventually I will be predicting the World Series. So, here's how this is going to work. I'm going to go by division: American League East, American League Central, American League West, NL East, NL Central, NL West. So, I'll be going in that order, and I will be predicting each team's record, and I'll be having a bit of a breakdown. I might break it down for some teams, I might not. So, at the end of the season, as we enter the playoffs, I will have a video of not only my playoff predictions, but also my looking back on these predictions and seeing how awful they are, where I screwed up, where I went right, where my bold predictions went way off, I don't know. So, let us get into these predictions without further ado. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak right now. Let's get right into them. We'll start with the AL East. Coming in at number 5 is the Baltimore Orioles, coming in at 71 and 95. They used to be good, but yeah, they aren't good anymore. Coming in at number 4 is the New York Yankees. Now, I do think the Yankees are on the right track. They definitely have a potential to be great again, but probably not this year. But they have improved since 2011, I think. The last time they made the playoffs, I believe, is 2010. So, I think they do, or, I mean, not the wild card, but got into the playoffs. Because last year they won the wild card. Whatever. Number 3 is the Tampa Bay Rays, coming in at 83 and 79. They've actually surprised me this spring. They're a little bit better than I expected, and they're improving, and they are also on the right track to becoming great once again. Moving on to number 2 is the Boston Red Sox, coming in at 90 and 72. This Red Sox team, as much as I dislike them, I think they're good. I think they definitely have the potential to go deep into the playoffs and contend for that number 1 spot, which I predict will be the Toronto Blue Jays at 75 and 60, or 95 and 67. So I do think the Red Sox have a chance at Toronto, beating Toronto this year, but I do think Toronto has a bit of a better team well, you can name all the players. Josh Donaldson, who's on the cover of MLB 16, the show this year. Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, Troy Tulowitzki. But as long as they stay healthy, they will be great this year. And as long as they stay healthy, I believe they have this division in the bag. So that'll do it for the AL East. Now to the AL Central. Coming in at number 5, the Minnesota Twins at 70 and 92. Coming in at number 4 is the Chicago White Sox, 77 and 85. Coming in at number 3 is the Cleveland Indians at 81 and 81, and even 500 record. Now, Cleveland Indians also, like the Yankees and the Rays, are on the right track. They have a couple of young pieces that can develop, and they have a lot of good prospects down the minors. I do think that the Indians do have a shot at becoming good one of these days and winning a World Series for once. Coming in at number 2, number 2 is the Detroit Tigers. Now, I do think that Cleveland has a chance to edge out Detroit in this division, as I put Detroit only 1 game above Cleveland and only 1 game above 500, 82 and 80. And Detroit, they're on a downward spiral right now, losing David Price over the offseason. I do think that Miguel Cabrera is kind of ending his prime. Even though he's only 28, I think his prime is, we don't think about it. A couple of years ago, we saw so many great plays from this monster infielder, and now we don't really see much. Don't get me wrong, he's still a powerful hitter and probably an all-star this year, but I think he's past his prime, and from here on out, it's going to be a downward spiral for Miguel Cabrera. That leaves number 1, the defending champions, Kansas City Royals, at 88-74, the worst division-winning record in the American League. Kansas City, I think they're going to be good again this year. They're going to be contenders for that World Series trophy, and we'll have to see if they can do a repeat. Now moving on to the AL East. Coming in at number 5 is the Oakland Athletics. I have them bold at 61 and 101 wins. It would not surprise me if they get to 61 wins, 101 losses. It would not surprise me if this team got to 101 losses. So coming in at number 4 is the Los Angeles Angels at 74 and 88. I hope the best for Mike Trout in the future. I like Mike Trout. I hope that he eventually can bring the Angels back to the World Series or bring a team back to the World Series. I wish all the best for Mike Trout, but I don't think the Angels have it this year. Coming in at number 3 is the Seattle Mariners at an even 181 and 81. They also are on a downward spiral. Robinson Cano is getting older. Felix Hernandez is getting older. So yeah, they probably have to start rebuilding within the next couple of years. Coming in at number 2, I have the Texas Rangers at 85 and 77. They are contenders for that number 1 spot this year, but I do think that the number 1 team has too much. It is the Houston Astros at 96 and 66. 11 games, in my predictions, 11 games in front of Texas, the Texas Rangers. Houston, they're just too good for Texas. I don't think Texas will be able to beat Houston at home or away. But it definitely could be closer. Texas could very well bring home the AL West division title. So now, with the AL done, the playoff standings look like this. The Houston Astros, the number 1 seed, and head to the NLDS to face the wild card winner. The Toronto Blue Jays win their division and get home field to give advantage against the Kansas City Royals in the division series. And in the wild card match, it will be the Texas Rangers versus the Boston Red Sox. We will get into those predictions in just a couple of minutes, right as we finish the NL, as we will start with the National League East. Coming in at number 5 is the Philadelphia Phillies with a 59 and 103 record. This team, it has lots of ups and downs. If you think about it, 5-6 years ago, they were in the playoffs, and they almost knocked off the San Francisco Giants, who won the World Series that year. They almost did, and they lost in 6 games in the NLCS, but they cannot edge them out. But now, that is not the story. 59 and 103 is my predicted record for the Philadelphia Phillies. Coming in at number 4, not too much better than the Philadelphia Phillies is the Atlanta Braves at 65 and 97. Not much to be said for the Braves. Coming in at number 3, I have the Miami Marlins at an even 81 and 81. This is, I believe, is the third 81 and 81 team that I have. So, yeah. Miami. I think they have potential. I think they have potential now, but they also had potential 3 years ago. And they just haven't been able to get off the ground. Like last year, the year before, they were supposed to be great, and look at how they finished. They were awful. So yeah, so Miami, I do think they will be able to contend for the number 2 spot in the NL East, which I believe will be taken by the Washington Nationals at 83 and 79. Not much to be said for them. Bryce Harper and all those guys over in the nation's capital. And coming in at number 1, I believe, is the New York Mets. This is probably a no-brainer. New York is probably going to take home this division. I have them at 93 and 69. They are the defending NL champions, so we will have to see how they do this season. Moving on to the National League Central, which last year they had 3 teams make that above 95 wins. That was the St. Louis Cardinals, the Chicago Cubs, and the Pittsburgh Pirates. But we'll get into those 3 teams in just a moment. We'll start with number 5, the Brew Crew, the Milwaukee Brewers. I have them at 66 and 96. Coming in at number 4 is the Cincinnati Reds at 71 and 91. And now into the top 3 of the division, maybe the top 3, last year maybe the top 3 teams in the National League. I have at number 3 the Pittsburgh Pirates at 89 and 73. They will be contenders for the wild card, but I don't think they will quite win the wild card this year. Coming in at number 2, I have the St. Louis Cardinals at 90 and 72. They will definitely contend with the team that I have on top of this division, which is the Chicago Cubs at 101 and 61. So we'll start with Pittsburgh. I think they're a bit on. They've gone backwards since last year. They won't be as good as they were last year. And the same with St. Louis. I despise of the Cardinals, but that I tried to be as unbiased as possible in this list, as I had them at 90 wins, and I think they could do better, but I don't think they will beat the Chicago Cubs this year, who are just way too good. Moving on to the NL West, my favorite division, as this is where it got tricky in my predictions. But we'll start with number 5. I have the San Diego Padres at 70 and 92. Coming in at number 4, the Colorado Rockies. People have a field day at Coors Field all the time. And it's very fun to watch games at Coors Field. The ball travels so far, and I think the visiting team will be getting the advantage over the Colorado Rockies this year, as I have them at 74 and 88. At number 3, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks at 85 and 77. This team is definitely a contender for the National League wild card, but there are just too many good teams in the National League this year. Now, this is where it got tricky. The Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Francisco Giants. San Francisco Giants, my favorite team. I tried to be as unbiased as possible. Let's get into a bit of a breakdown. In my opinion, I believe the San Francisco Giants, if you didn't know, last year, so many injury problems. They lost so many infielders, but people just kept stepping up from the minor leagues and playing well. But they could be so much better. If they have their starting lineup, say 70% of the year, I think they can bring home that division title. On the other hand, if they get injured as much as they did last year, they will not be able to win this. They will still be good, as last year they finished with 85 wins, I believe. I think they will still be good, but I don't think they will be a playoff team. The Dodgers, on the other hand, I believe they are more consistent than the Giants, but their starting lineup is not as good as the San Francisco starting lineup, but it's just a matter of health for San Francisco. I believe that the Los Angeles Dodgers will knock off the San Francisco Giants by 1 game. 95-67 is their final record. And the San Francisco Giants, of course, 94-68 is my opinion for their final record. I am a huge San Francisco Giants fan. I hope that this doesn't happen, but this is my predictions. And now, the National League playoff picture looks like this. The number 1 seed, the Chicago Cubs, coming in at the number 1 seed and will face the wild card winners, or the wild card winner. The New York Mets are the number 3 seed behind the Los Angeles Dodgers, coming in the number 2 seed. So LA will get the home field advantage in that one. In the wild card, it will be the St. Louis Cardinals at the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco. So let's get right into these predictions for the playoffs. The wild card round will start with the American League. Once again, it is the Texas Rangers at the Boston Red Sox, and I do think Boston is too good for Texas. As long as they stay healthy, they will be a good team. So they will face Houston in the Division League series. Moving on to the National League wild card, it will be the Cardinals at the Giants, and I do think San Francisco will take this one. They have home field advantage. They have a bit of a better pitching staff. If Wainwright can't start in this one, I do not believe that the St. Louis Cardinals can bring home the win. But if it's Wainwright versus Baumgartner, on the other hand, that would be the matchup of a lifetime. My goodness, Baumgartner versus Wainwright, that would be amazing in the wild card. We'll have to see if that happens anytime this year. So the San Francisco Giants and the Chicago Cubs will play in the Division League Series. And once again, the New York Mets and the Dodgers will play. I'm going to do the National League predictions, and I do think in the Division League Series in the San Francisco Giants and the Chicago Cubs series, this is my bold prediction of the year. The San Francisco Giants have the tools. They can do it as long as they stay healthy. They can beat the Chicago Cubs in the Division League series. I think it'll be close in 5 games, 3-2, but I do think the San Francisco Giants will knock off the Chicago Cubs in the NLDS. In the other one, I do think the Mets will go back-to-back years against the Dodgers. I think they will beat them a little bit easier this year in 4 games. So I do think it will be a Giants-Mets NLCS. The ALDS, on the other hand, I have the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. This one's very easy. I do think the Houston Astros will knock off Boston in that one. And the Royals at the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays are better this year. And in the rematch of last year's ALDS, I have the Toronto Blue Jays coming out on top, as they also have home field advantage in that one. So that leaves the ALCS with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Houston Astros, Houston having home field advantage in that one. And I have the NLCS as the Giants and the Mets, with the Mets with home field advantage in that one. Let's start with the American League. The Toronto Blue Jays and the Houston Astros, I believe Houston will win this one in 6 games over the Toronto Blue Jays to move on to the World Series. Houston Astros, congratulations. And to the NLCS. The New York Mets have home field advantage against the San Francisco Giants. Once again, if the Giants stay healthy, this will be an easy win. Over the last couple of years, they have shown no problem beating the New York Mets in New York. As they no-hit, I believe it was a no-hitter last year in New York. So I do believe that the San Francisco Giants in 7 games will knock off the defending NL champions in 7 games and move on to the World Series. That leaves the Houston Astros in the San Francisco Giants. 10 years ago, people would have called me insane. But in this one, Houston and San Francisco, this will be, oh my gosh, if this series happens, it will be amazing to watch. Jose Altuve versus Joe Panic, the 2 second basemen, George Springer, and Carlos Correa, all those names on the Houston Astros going up against Johnny Cueto, Madison Bumgarner, and Jeff Samardzija. My goodness, this will be a great World Series if it does happen. But I do think that the San Francisco Giants' luck will run out, and my World Series champions this year is the Houston Astros, knocking off the San Francisco Giants in 7 games. There you have it, folks. The Giants' every other year thing will break this year. I hope not. I'm a huge Giants fan. But I think Houston has the pieces to beat San Francisco. I actually do like Houston. Like, I'm not the biggest Astros fan, but you know, I'm pulling for Houston this year. So there you have it, folks. My MLB 2016 predictions. In the description down below, I will have an explanation of every single division, like the stats, or the, the records and every single team's records, and I might put a playoff bracket. We'll have to see, but I will put the Houston Astros as the champions against the San Francisco Giants. Let me know if you agree or not in the comments down below. Post your predictions, who will win the World Series. I don't know, give me feedback down in the comments below. Tell me anything that I need to change about my videos. Go and check out my other videos. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button, like the video, comment on the video, and subscribe to my channel to see more. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.